Hi, everyone. So in this video, we'll be walking through how to write the Pokemon constructor. In the previous question, we were actually given the Pokemon constructor and we were writing the selectors, but in this case, we will be given the selectors and we have to complete our constructor. So for our Pokemon constructor, we have our three arguments: name, type, and friends. Before we get started, let's look at our selectors. So we can see that this is a little bit different than our previous selectors, where we just grabbed the index of a list where it was like P0 for name, P1 for type, P2 for friends. In this case, you can see it's actually a function call. And the argument that's passed in is a string. So function call with string argument. And we can see that the string depends on the selector. So if it's p name, we are calling a function with the string name, p type, string type. And for p friends, we're calling the function with the string friends. So this gives us a hint that we need to have a higher order function in our constructor because we are actually calling that function again in our selectors. So now let's look through our doc tests. We see our first line is little guy equals Pokemon Pikachu, Electric, Mewtwo, and Lucario. So those are all of our arguments. And we can see that when we want to grab P name, we get Pikachu, P type, we get Electric, and P friends, we get Mewtwo, as expected. So now we can get started. As we noticed when we were looking at our selectors, we know that we need a higher order function. So let's get started by writing that. We can just say def select. And we can pass in an argument command. Since we know that in our selectors, the string will either be name, type, or command, that will help us determine what kind of info we want to return. So now we can have our series of conditions. So if command is equal to the string name, then we know we want to return the name. And we're able to do this since name is passed in through our original argument over here. Otherwise, if the command is equal to type, then we know that we want to return the p type. Again, we can see p type is over here, and we know that type is a possible argument over there. And lastly, if command, oops, I misspelled command over here. Command. If our command is equal to friends, then we know that we want to return friends as passed in as our argument over here. I'll just make this a little bit smaller. And lastly, we're not done yet. Because this is a higher order function, we need to remember to actually return our nested function. So the last thing we need to do is write return select. So that way, when we go to our selectors and we say p name, this will actually be the same as saying select with the argument name. All right, so this is our final constructor. I hope this walkthrough helped.